Twitch.
Hello.
I'm sure there's probably nobody here, but that's fine.
I mean, do we
I
really
feel like
need
that's pretty
people?
normal.
It is.
Here's Wonderwall.
Yeah, anyway. Here's Wonderwall.
Go Cardinals, beat the Royals.
Ah, he speaks of sports ball.
He does.
I do.
So, as I've said, I have exactly 2 characters to help build from, so a lot of this is, WIP. So I'll have to start out with the most basics of overviews and let you guys catch up as you will. So you are in the world of darkness, roughly 2090s. The world is a bit cyberpunk. Corporations have taken over large chunks of living. The classic werewolf, the apocalypse. Most Guru are fighting the worm, which of course is bad, and you want to fight that. But in their single-minded desire to take down the worm, they almost completely ignored the Weaver. Which the Weaver is things that are static, things that want to remain. Corporations, states, countries. They generally like to not be changed. And unfortunately, once the balance of power has shifted, you don't want it to not change anymore. Because now you want it to change, and that's what you, as Guru, are here for. So instead of like the United States being like 50 states, they have started to not quite secede, but combine. So right now, you all are part of LATMA, the Los Angeles Tijuana metropolitan area. So it covers a big swath of California all the way down into Mexico. You still have some recognizable places, like your Cairn and Sept are located in Long Beach. And of course, the enemies that you're fighting the most in this particular case are in Los Angeles. So, to explain what a sept is kind of like an organization, like lodge for Guru. The sept is located on an area called the Bawn, which is presently about 1 square mile of Long Beach beachfront. Now that can change as I get more characters and more stats in, but so far that's what it's sitting at. Your sept is called the Beachhead, and it consists of sept members, which include you. Presently, you have a collective 2 points in totem, which is not enough to actually claim a pack totem. They range from, I think, maybe about 3 up to 7. I think one of them is 8. So people would have to donate a lot more into totem to make it worth it. So if by the time I get the other characters in, if you haven't taken enough totem to at least take a minor totem that you like, then I'll just refund those and you guys can throw them back into your freebie pool and adjust your characters accordingly. Presently, your Sept Spirit is sitting at 1. That means if you summon your Sept Spirit to help you, they will have 1 dice to help you with. So, I attack. I roll 1 die. Did I get over a 6? No? Well, I miss. Your turn is based on your totem. If you all manage to rank up a totem, it will be based on that totem. If not, the cairn, which is like the holy chewy center of your Septon Bond, where basically the veil is very low and you can commune with the spirits, and open room bridges, which is like a teleporter or like the Rainbow Bridge for the Avengers. Right now, that is the equivalent of a dumpster fire just kind of sitting in the middle of the beach. That doesn't go out. It's not very impressive. So
Awesome.
if you have 0 resources, you probably live at the Sept on the Bawn. They have like little huts, like vacation huts that sit on the beach, and you can live in one of those, but it's not like personal property. So it's like, somebody else is there. I better find a new one, or pitch a tent, or sleep on the sand because I'm a tough ass guru, not some little wimpy guy.
Ooh.
I have a tent
Do you pitch it?
often.
Oh my.
My surfboard's my pillow, man.
Gnarly, dude.
Yeah, roaches, bro.
So the members of your Sept, your Sept elder is named Folklan. He's a Galliard of the Children of Gaia at rank 4. So he's pretty far up there.
Oh shit, he's even more of a hippie surfer than I am.
And then on your council, you have 2 more members. One is Teltos, a Shadow Lord Philodox of rank 3, and Aurelia, a Fianna Thurge of rank 3. Now, generally speaking, yes, Folklan is kind of a hippie kind of dude, but he when he reaches level rank 5, when he becomes an elder, chances of him becoming a legend are pretty high. Like he's done certain things, like did his hero stand in front of a doorway and trapped a bunch of Fomori and Black Spiral dancers in a building, and basically got like 2 or 3 battle scars just refusing to die from that situation. So he's kind of like a scarred up old hippie dude. Missing an eye, missing a few fingers. Taltos, Shadow Lord Philodox, he's kind of the judge of the group, and being a Shadow Lord and being a Philodox, he is kind of a dick. Not the friendly kind of person you go to, more like the person you get sent to when you need to get spanked. So, and Aurelia, the Fianna Thurge, basically performs the rites for the guild, or for the, Karen, the Scepter. Opens the moon bridges. If you want to do a rite on the Bawn, you would go through her and say, hey, I would like to do the rite cleansing here. And she'd say, okay, go ahead and do that. Taltos, unfortunately, is also the person you would go to if you are captured by authorities and need to get out of jail. Because he is a hell of a good lawyer. He just, may not always
Shadow Lord
plead in your
Philodox,
favor.
you said?
Yes.
Ooh. He makes my skin crawl.
As well it should. So presently, your Sept membership includes 29 kinfolk and Tanuki's mentor, Uncle Sensei, who is an Actena Thurge.
Oh yeah.
So he's like half Choctaw, half Japanese. You are considered the second pack at the Sept. The first pack is called Scorn Daisy. That's SKORNDAZE capital Z. So they are both a pack and a popular punk metal band. All female characters here. The alpha is Penny Earn, who is a Black Fury Galliard of rank 2. Stitches, who is a Wendigo Ragabash on drums and keyboard. Sweetleaf, which is a Silver Fang Arun. The other 2 are both rank 1. The group itself has fame, which applies to the mortal world. So they're like a locally pretty well known band that would open for popular acts. And Sweetleaf is a pure breed for Silver Fang Arun. And so their job mainly is social attacks on the corporations that you are going after. So, your enemies, your primary enemies, the declared enemies and goals of your Sept. include, with many other septs, is trying to take down Dark Stone Industries, which is basically Pentex in corporation form. It's a global conglomerate. They have a lot of power. Nobody's really able to stand up against them alone. And they're the biggest of the big bad. You're not expected to ever try to go up against them, at least not until like you're like getting close to elder ranks. The runner-up to that, sort of a national subsidiary, is called Nilex, which is a delivery and social media company. And they're bad. They sneak wormy things into their packages and use subliminal style messages in their social media, basically just increasing their power. Kind of like social media now. Regionally, you have Pendleton Technologies. This is where you're starting to get to the point where it's like, maybe we can mess with these guys' satellite offices. But they're pretty powerful. And then local to Latmar, local to your area, is a place called Hydrocon LLC, who employs Fomori guards. So, in mass, they could pose a threat to a group pack. Unless they bring out their heavy guards, probably not sweating too much when you run into them. For notable neutral, you have Megamart, which is your big store amalgamation, kind of like Walmart ate up all the mom and pop shops. Megamart ate up all the big boxes. And so now when you want to get something like that you would normally go to one of those stores, you go to Megamart. There are small fast food franchises. You still have like Taco Bell and McDonald's and stuff, but the biggest present fast food franchise is called Oops, It's a Hot Dog. For vehicle rentals, which becomes important for many groups for some reason, so I figured I would throw that in there. There's Billy Bob's You Rent It, where you can rent vehicles that are in dodgy shape for high prices, but when you bring back the smoking husk that's left after you're done with it, they don't ask questions. And then you have Outback Jack's Survival Emporium, which is a quote-unquote camping store. It's basically like a new urban and rural survivalist haven. So you can get some pretty nasty stuff there. It's not like going to a Dick's. It's like, I need a Claymore. Let's check out Outback Jack's. So,
You don't have Claymores at your local Dick's?
not that I've seen, but I'm not really into Dick's.
I mean, you find enough machete and find a big enough machete and it's almost the same thing.
Oh no, I'm at the mine.
Not the sword.
Oh.
Yeah, Claymore, you just go to the local Ren Fair and go to Starfire Weapons or something.
Which reminds me, Ren Fair should be opening back up soon.
Leroot. Okay,
One
so
of the things, the definition of the word claymore is dependent on your life experience. I almost never think of swords.
yeah. I think of both pretty equally. So, other things to avoid, not too scary, is local law enforcement and city guards. So, a government still exists. The United States government still exists. It just is, figureheads that are, literally puppeted by strings. Like, they'll go to like their town hall meetings and sit there like lawyers saying, no, you can't say that. Don't say this. So they're really kind of a joke, but they still exist. So you have like what they call a cop, not going to stand toe to toe with probably even your weakest member in Hamid form, 1-on-1. Step up from that are the enforcers, which are souped up versions, a little scarier. Instead of using baseball bats, which is what the cops use, essentially oversized batons, The enforcers use something called a blue stick. It does stun damage, and they basically just try to stun you down and arrest you, which is, not ideal for a werewolf. And then you have detectives, which are usually hired by communities. They can be pretty tough. You probably wouldn't want to fight one alone, unless you were okay with popping Kronos on them and, throating them. All of those local law enforcement types are prone to delirium. A step up from that, you have MetSec, or Metropolitan Security. You have the officers, which are kind of tough. They use shotguns with dragonfire rounds. And they have officer, lieutenant, and captain. They get tougher as you go up. And they can put out fire, aggravated damage to some. I know some people have gifts that allow them to not take ag from that, which will be good for you if you run into MetSec. If you should happen, for captains in MetSec, the highest tier, they're immune to delirium. So if you manage to take out MetSec forces, and you don't run quickly, they call out max tac, which is the maximum tactical force. They're all immune to delirium. They're a first engager. They wear really heavy power assist armor. They have grenade launchers, and they can punch for a crap load of damage. You have your backup engagers who come next in case the first engagers start going down. They wear real powered armor, have flamethrowers, and punch for about the same as the first engagers. And then you have the solution engager, who wears Space Marine level armor, fire flat guns that do ag, fight hand to hand with mini chainsaws that do ag. They're real nasty. I mean, probably you would want to fight a Mark V first. So that's what I've got so far based on what you've given me and what I can reasonably put out there without knowing that somebody has a Haunted Flaw or Foe from the Past. So then, presently... Yes, here.
You are?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Well, presently for your pack, I have right now that I can see character sheets for. Not your heavy hitters. Silent Strider Ragabash, named Ziv.
That's me.
And I have your Stargazer Thurge, Tanuki.
I am actively putting together mine. A Glasswalker Thurge. So while he's Mystic, I'm gonna be Techno Shaman.
Very good. With your digital trash can full of bee spirits.
Yes. Now that I know it's gonna be a digital trash can full of bees, I have to take it.
Campbell, are you Granite Top's worst nightmare?
Yes. I'm so jaded from getting the ASCII dicks in Shadowrun that I am now the ASCII dicker.
I think ASCII Dicker has a different.
I think Twitch needs a little background on this.
Nope.
I think ASCII Dicker means something different.
I don't. Maybe. I don't think Twitch needs to know. It's funnier if they don't know.
If they just try to figure it out.
Yeah, what they can imagine is probably 10 times better than what actually happened. It's like suspense, but with humor. That's how I roll.
Yikes.
Is that all the background people need?
We'll probably need that in a document of some sort, because that was a lot really fast. I got some of
Okay.
it written down, but not all of it.
I went to go and open a notepad so that I could start doing stuff, and then Ray was on like his third paragraph of information, and I was like, nope.
Yeah,
late.
it all flowed by rather quickly. Like I am intimidated by the Shadow Lord Philodox, and I low key have the hots for the Fiona Galliard in the punk band.
Pretty sure you just said it, so it's not really low key anymore.
Yeah, yeah, that's not.
I mean, it's out of character, so
So Penny Earn is a Black Fury Galliard. So I
even
don't know.
better.
I don't know what you're playing, but you might not have a big shot.
We can smash the patriarchy together.
Loot. No.
I've had a nuts kind of day, so I haven't had a chance to really work out my character just yet. But I have a strong idea of how to move forward.
Well, that's kind of what tonight is for the moving forward.
What are you thinking, Adam?
Just somebody descended from a long line of San Francisco hippies that made his way down there. With a name like Sundance or Rainbow Shine or something like that, like something that sounds like from a hippie commune.
Oh, like Sweet Leaf.
You grew up over in Mill Valley and Sausalito, man.
But and through the process of transformation and stuff, like ended up like becoming more in line with peace and love and environmental justice to eco-terrorism and environmental justice.
So
That works well.
really quickly, read about the children of Gaia.
Well, that's what I was planning on.
Okay. I didn't know if you had gotten to do any reading at all or just.
Oh no, I've been like back when we first started proposing this, I was reading over a bunch of stuff, and that's definitely the way I was wanting to go with it.
Okay. What do you perceive as being your auspice? Like, what sign of the moon were you born under?
I don't have the stuff in front of me to be able to say.
Well, you can kind of get an idea. A quick overview is Ragabash is the trickster. So they get by on pranking, being goofy. They don't have to be, but in every war movie you've got your Joker type character that is just kind of doesn't take anything too seriously. Murdoch from the A-Team start.
Probably the right one for my character because carefree is kind of where they came from.
Yeah,
It sounds like Ragabash Adam sounds like most of the characters that you like to play.
Yes. One of these days I'll play a serious character.
Okay. So presently you have possibly 2 Ragabashes and 2 Thurges.
And Murder Boat McMurderson.
Yeah, Daniel is making Fight Wolf McWolfface.
Okay, so at least you have one person that can stand up and fight.
Stab kill.
I considered Tank and Spank, but I was like, no, I do that too much.
Especially the latter.
Whoa. Don't get him excited now.
All right.
Well, I
So,
already got excited when he was talking about some spanking earlier.
oh yeah.
Like that's who you go to. That's who you go to if you need spanking. It's like, wait a minute here.
So presently, it seems like you probably, without seeing the new characters coming up and what resources you take, whatever, it seems like you probably all live on the Bon or in coffin hotels. One of you, I think, has a motorcycle for getting around.
I do.
which I'll give it to you even if you don't have resources just because your parents were truckers. And
Yeah.
it seems to me that they would probably, hey, here, take this thing and go this place
Well,
away from us.
I figure between that and all the friends connections they have everywhere, because I figure they're
Yeah.
all kinfolk of some sort.
Yeah, just don't get it blown up or stolen because replacing it could be hard.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
my dude would have trouble with transportation of much of anything because he's hooked on his 2 bare feet to get where he goes.
No, they're wolf feet. We're wolves.
Yes.
That's called pause.
I have resources 1, so probably like a broken down VW microbus or whatever the 2090 equivalent is.
Which is both your transportation and your home.
And which is
Yes.
probably the same thing. It's still like a 1967 microbus.
Hey man,
Yeah.
I don't live in a van down by the river. I live in a van down by the beach.
Aw, yeah. You go, beach boy.
Yeah, we definitely harmonize better than that video that intentionally misrepresents the Beach Boys.
Do not speak of it.
So, quick question about building. The 15-11-7 ability section, is that like I pick one for 50, one between the talent, skills, and knowledges for 15, one for 11, one for 7, just like the attributes?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Like
If you
Where are you seeing those numbers, Gamble? I see 1395.
Ray's Discord stuff. It's the special campaign.
Oh,
thing.
Ray bumped it, didn't he?
Yep.
Ray bumped it because he knows we're new and dumb and thinks we need more resources, which, to be fair, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I forgot that he'd bumped it up. I was just looking at the rule book.
Well, I also bumped it up because I added in more backgrounds. Ow.
Yep, you added in the dock wagon, which is super cool, and the IT crowd.
Yeah, I think there was one more.
Chance for life. Tech assist. Oh yeah, the Sept Spirit.
So right now you have 1 point in Sept Spirit. Sept Spirit is like basically once in a session you can summon your Sept Spirit. It's not like a big rite or anything. It's more like you all raise your fists and show your decoder rings and say, "I summon the Sept Spirit," and then the Sept Spirit shows up in whatever form you want it to show up in. Basically, it can show up as a brawler, corporate lawyer, a policeman that outranks the officer that you're trying to deal with. But when they're trying to convince them, it uses whatever you guys have total in Sept Spirit, which right now is 1, which means not fooling anyone. I mean, it's an extra body.
Which means really, if we don't get more, I'm going to take my point back.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to do anything.
That is fair enough. It's like Totem. I mean, Totems give the whole group gifts, but sometimes bans that people will really hate. So it's always good to be careful about that.
I mean, I still haven't spent my freebies yet, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and any other questions?
Not right now.
Maybe soon, though.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, have you picked a tribe for your brawler?
Oh man, I'm going Arun Git.
To get?
Oh, no.
I wasn't kidding when I said Murderface McMurderwolf.
Yeah.
He was like, "What are the 2 that make you fight more?" Okay, those.
What makes me the fightiest of fighting?
Yeah, it's difficult to top that.
It sounded funny while I was reading it, and I was like, I like it.
Are you gonna Are you gonna take 4 and fetish and get yourself a Clive?
Fuck yeah. Someone's got to have the murder sword.
Yeah, it's not gonna be me.
It's all good. I just have the
Jeff, what
Palm
about you?
Pilot
What
full
tribe
of
are you
bees.
thinking about,
Me?
Jeff?
Oh.
I'm the
You got-
Ragabash Silent Strider. I'm Zev. I've already made mine.
He's like your sneaky dude.
Yeah, Campbell, Dad, and I meant to do ours last night, and then I forgot about it.
And then
So
Jeff
I
built
just
it,
did mine.
and
Yeah.
I looked at the book and got ideas. I just
Yeah,
need to
Zev-
actually go through the skills and figure out what I want to do.
That's where I'm at.
Zev is all about that thug life. So, what's it that had the microbus? You have drive, right?
I do have drive.
All right. I just like to make sure of these things.
Thanks to my parents, I also have drive up to an 18-wheeler.
Indeed. And anything that you have 4 dots in, including your attributes and abilities, you can. If you have 4 dots, you can have 1 specialization, and at 5 dots, you can have 2 specializations.
Oh, okay. This is the.
Oh man, Drive is possessed by automobile show hosts. Could we just all take Drive and be Werewolf the Top Gear?
I think you'd be
Gear
more like
werewolf
Mad Max.
And with 2 VW buses.
and a motorcycle. It's fine.
So, local law enforcement response time is about average. You can expect them to show up in 8 to 15 minutes from somebody calling 911. MetSec shows up in definitely less than 10 minutes. Usually they are contracted, so they don't get to just like sit around and say, not my monkey, not my circus." MaxTac has a response of less than 5 minutes, usually more than 1. They have hover vehicles, and they're mounted on top of a very large skyscraper, and they basically airdrop like Space Marines.
Hate that.
So, usually there's not a whole bunch of big street balls between, BSD and Gru or vampires and Gru. It's like, yeah, we need to get this over with really fast because when Max Tech shows up, we're doomed.
Where I have 2 dots in a cult. How much do I know about like local leeches and local wizards?
Give me just a second. This is a lot easier just using my book.
Scrolling through stuff takes a little bit.
A name or two. You may have the vaguest concept of what their clans are about. So
Okay.
you know they exist. You know some lore about them. At 2 points, you'd be rolling to see how sure you are. Wait a minute, are they immune to garlic or do they eat silver? Kind of thing. So
Gotcha.
How about if you have 3? Bruce thought he was a culty. Then he met Zev.
Oh no, man! My character like has a very definite understanding that he's like new at this, and he only knows a little bit.
But he has a really good mentor to go to, right?
That's right. And it sounds like there's actually a couple here, like the Utena Theurge and Uncle Sensei.
Yeah, you have some good sources for it.
Yeah, I have 3 points in occult, so what do I know? My my wide travels, I'm guessing, have enabled me to encounter things. Or my homelessness.
All right, so yeah, so at 3 points, you're the equivalent of a master's. There are more than werewolves out there. You know a lot about these other residents of the world of darkness. So you know about vampires. You know about mages. Everybody pretty much knows about BSD. It's part of your training.
Yeah.
But you have a better chance of knowing. Oh well, this is a Toreador. So they're kind of artsy. If you want to get in good with them, you act pretentious and tell them about wine, stuff like that.
This guy's a Nosferatu. They do like spy shit and disguises and.
Yeah.
You leave House Delac alone, man.
Oh, Ray, you might want to explain to the newbies what a BSD or Black Spiral Dancer is.
I don't know. I read that much.
Oh, you read that much?
In the book.
Okay.
They're
evil werewolves.
Yeah,
well, they're a
fallen
tribe that were like, we're gonna go into the horrible, horrible, horrible places. That won't go wrong. And then they came out like, we hate everything, including you.
Correct. So it was a clan or a tribe called the White Howlers, and they were really badasses. I mean, they were like, the captain of the football team dating the cheerleaders kind of thing. Like everybody, like to get a finish. Like, oh man, I want to be a White Howler when I grow up.
I could be a
White Howler. I can
Howler.
really fight. So they all decided, hey, we're this strong. We're going to go jump straight down the throat of the worm. You know how they say when you stare into the abyss, it looks back at you? Well, let's go in there and rip out its eyes. And they fell down the spiral. And, it was black. And so then they became the Black Spiral Dancers. Yes, they are evil werewolves. They attack with something called Balefire, which, your immunity to fire doesn't help with, because it's, like the difference between getting hit, by a flamethrower and then getting hit by, the devil himself. It's pretty nasty stuff.
At least it's not Wheel of Time Balefire, right, Dad?
Yeah, where it erases you from the weave.
Yeah. Where it's the turbo bad.
Yeah, if you run into a BSD legend, you might have to worry about something like that. But generally speaking, no. Fomori. So, Fomori are kind of like they don't have to be BSD kinfolk, but most often they are. They will have certain gifts, and they're tougher than mortals, but definitely not tougher than like a brand new, shiny, out of the box vampire that just got embraced and thought, "Hey, I can take on a screw pack."
Oh, hi, Marm.
Go let her outside.
And ghouls are like what vampires feed on, right?
Ghouls are mortals of any sort, so they can ghoul a kinfolk, which is really bad because you don't like that. They can ghoul like regular people. They can ghoul a Fomori if they really wanted to. I don't know why they would, because they'd still be hard to control. But ghouls have vampire vitae. They usually have a point or two in some discipline, so they can have like potence and fortitude. So you slash them with your claws, and they don't necessarily die right away like the rest of the squishies. and when they hit you, it might hurt a little bit. But they're not really a big threat. But they do have Vitae. They can pump up their physical attributes. Um, like say they typically don't hold more than like 3 Vitae at a time. Most vampires wouldn't waste more than that on their favorite goal. So they could have like 3 Vitae. They could bump up their strength. If they normally have like 3, they can suddenly be 6. So they can get kind of tough, but they're not a super threat to you.
Okay.
Like in 40k terms, think of them as like mutated cultists, or like the Black Spiral Dancers are full-on possessed Chaos Space Marines.
Right. I mean, some of this I do know thanks to Ray and Nadia, who's not here, but I learned a lot of vampire stuff from her. Never played, but I know like Daniel and Brandon haven't ever even really looked at this stuff.
I sure haven't. I have, in fact, made fun of the vampire LARPers.
Well, I can think of 2 other
who
people in this chat who have also done that, even though one of those vampire LARPers is a very good friend of theirs and might be someone you call Aunt. Ooh, how's that feel,
Okay.
Daniel?
No, Titus is calling for Daddy and Campbell. Titus!
Because Auntie Nadia used to run the vampire LARP at Parkside, or help run it anyway. So,
Titus wants his Daddy and his Campbell to go upstairs.
I don't think Campbell can do that.
I don't think he can either. He doesn't know that, though. He just knows that he hears him.
Right.
Mommy, do you want to bring him down? I hear thudding now. He must be going to get shoes.
Okay, so I am tempted to assume that you guys won't have a pack totem or a sept spirit. I mean, if you guys want one and you put 10 points into it, you definitely have one. But those are like some of the like important questions of creating a pack. Like who's the totem, and then here's a silly one. Who's going to be the alpha?
I think I know, and he doesn't want to be. I think Murder McMurderface is going to be the alpha, because all of us other non-bashy ones are going to go, whoa.
Well, it depends because I know that at least one of you has pure breed.
Ooh, that's not me.
Oh, that's me.
So pure breed is extra dice for any kind of social challenge. And
Hi,
Pack Alpha is a social challenge, and you can't not have pure breed. You can't suppress it. So it's like when you two go head to head and growl at each other, and whip out your werewillies and smack each other and try to figure out who's in charge. Pure breed counts in that pool.
Titus.
Use your brain.
Hi, Titus.
Titus Bug.
Hi, Camel. And
Do you hear your grandpa?
Hi, Tai.
Hi, buddy.
Do you hear your grandpa?
Yeah, I'm
Say hi, grandpa.
Hi, buddy.
Who is that? That's your Uncle Bruce. Say hi, Bruce.
Hi, buddy.
Can't see Adam, but say hi, Adam.
Hi. I won't turn on my camera because I don't want to traumatize you.
That's fair. And say hi, Uncle Ray.
Hi, Titus.
It's Campbell. It's Campbell.
Hi, Titus.
I'm not plugging in my camera.
No, that's fine.
It is lazy, and it is far away, and I am lazy.
Okay, so like you can just decide amongst yourselves, okay, that's fine, this person would be the alpha. But if it comes down to something like a roll, you would be like probably Tanuki would be using manipulation, primal urge, and pure breed as a pool
Oof.
versus your Aruns I mean, your rune is probably just going to try to go pure strength and primal urge. And then if he has pure beat, he would have had that. So
He's gonna be
I
a
got
pretty
7
thick boy.
dice, man.
Where's Primal Urge?
It's
Talent.
it's a talent.
Oh, it's talent. Okay.
talent.
So quick over for all the noobs. Quick overview of everything. All the attributes are kind of self-explanatory. Wits is quick thinking. Intelligence is how much you actually know. Perception is noticing things. Everything else is kind of exactly what it is. So under talent, some of the important things that people should probably know. Initiative is based on wits and alertness. So if you take a high alertness, I would not ping anybody for doing that, especially if you're a fighter.
Well, good. I was gonna do that anyways.
Primal urges for when you want to shapeshift and not spend rage, and or not just got hit in the head with a silver club.
Hi.
You can spend a point of rage. So, like, if you have 2 points of rage and you spend 1 to shift instantly, you have 1 more rage left in the, until essentially you do you kind of either have to wait for the next session or do the equivalent of a long rest or tap into a spirit or, that's what things like a sub-spirit are good for. They store rage, gnosis, and willpower for you. So when you run out, you can say, hey, buddy, I need some of this real bad. I need to rage regenerate from getting a battle scar, and I don't have any left. Oh, well, that's a pity. If you don't have some kind of spirit that does that for you. Everything else is also kind of pretty self-explanatory. If you want to do rituals, you use ritual. If you want to do medicine, you do medicine. They have, since I last played, they now have larceny, which I'm guessing is just like thievery.
Yes.
I mean,
Now, if I want to get explodey, what skill or knowledge should I take?
Explosive should be a talent. Maybe a skill.
I don't see anything in here that screams explosives, except for maybe like a focusing of a professional skill or something like that.
Okay.
That's
You
usually
should-
what it is.
You
Okay.
should take crafts and science.
Were my crafts, rather than making like a dream catcher, I'm sitting here like putting together bombs and things.
I mean, maybe you're in a hut in the woods writing your manifesto and, mailing it off to universities like the Unabomber. I don't know.
You're making pipe bombs, but the pipe bombs have like beads and shit.
Yeah.
Gather round, children, for crafting. Today, we're going to learn how to use blasting caps.
If that's the thing you want to learn how to build, Adam, let me know.
It's
So-
not.
In what context? No, you know what? No,
Yeah.
we're live. Never mind.
Yeah. Let's not. Ooh.
So you can make a lot of arguments for certain things, allowing you to use explosives, including things like science and survival. You could do crafts as a explosive. It to be more amateur style, like modifying firework mortars. You could also just bring in that as a talent, like explosives or artillery, and have that be a new talent. They don't generally have it on there because usually you don't serve in that sort of capacity.
I just know the house.
But you could make up
a lot of cracks with
the
Explosives
explosives
have all
talent.
kinds of utilities.
Yes, which is why you can justify coming about them in various ways. I mean, you have a couple of thurges, and one of them is even a tech thurge. The other one is a spirit thurge. Now, if those two were working together like chocolate and peanut butter, you can create like an awakened bomb,
That wasn't a shape.
which is bad for everyone, but you could do it.
Oh,
That sounds horrible. We might need to look into that as kind of a, well, the apocalypse is here.
Like, we put this nuclear jagling inside this hand grenade here, or pipe bomb, and yeah, we're gonna throw it. How far can you throw exactly?
Not far enough. Bye, guys.
pretty far.
Yeah, Silent Strider is usually pretty good at running away.
15 or 16. I was in El Paso.
I can outrun a fat man,
Hey,
even
Dad.
a little boy.
Hey, what? You said me, right?
What year did Pawpaw die? 15 or 16?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Bold of you to assume I remember that.
Well, I asked you because you had a chance.
Well, that's also fair. But yes, you were in El Paso because you had just been home for Adepticon.
Yeah. It was
And you
15
didn't have
then.
leave. You didn't have leave.
Then it was 15.
And I think that was the one I didn't go to.
I think so too. No, because maybe. Is that when you were heading to Guam?
I didn't go to Adepticon.
No. I never went to an Adepticon
I know. No, that's
in El Paso.
like
Did
barring
you not? I
him.
thought you did.
No, he signed up for it and then couldn't go.
Oh, okay. Is that when we got you your card?
You got me my card for Guam because I got screwed over by the... You were like, you're going to leave the Guam in like a month, and then like 10 months later, they were like, bye! The fuck?
So if you wanted to do something like you wanted to use an artillery shell, like you found like a big gun and you wanted to load up an artillery shell, or I don't know, load something up into a tank, and you don't have artillery, you can make a raw check. So if you wanted to say load up that shell, might be something like strength plus artillery. I don't have artillery. Well, then it's raw strength, and your difficulty is raised by 2. Standard difficulty is 6. So if you have 2 points of strength and you're trying to do this, you roll 2 die 10, and you're trying to roll 8 or higher. And if you happen to roll, a 1 on that, well, then big boom happens closer than you wanted.
Thinking about technology and being an agent of chaos, like eco-terrorism, where instead of them manufacturing certain things, could make it manufacture other things. No.
What?
I'm brainstorming.
Oh, okay. I almost saw it. I thought I heard a lightning. So, mostly when you want to do something, you combine an attribute with a skill. Like manipulation and etiquette. So you're trying to convince somebody that what you did was not a faux pas. In fact, that is the latest style. And then you got a bunch of, jerks at a party, like, I don't know, smacking each other in the head with a ladle or something like that. Some pools stand alone, like if you need to make a rage check, like to see if you were going to frenzy, you roll your rage alone, or your gnosis alone, or your willpower alone. Those are standalone pools. You generally wouldn't combine them with attributes or abilities. Backgrounds are standalone, like you wouldn't roll strength plus ancestor. An ancestor is another solution for oh no, we don't have anybody that actually does explosives, you can roll your ancestors check and try to temporarily get that skill. Like, oh no, I don't know kung fu. Ancestors help me. I know kung fu.
I know kung fu. Sorry.
Some of you can.
Oh, you have to have the ancestors.
Yeah,
ancestors
some of
background.
us don't get ancestors.
So using
Yeah,
the ancestors background is kind of like being able to jack into the Matrix.
it is. Now, when we were playing back in the 90s, it was called Past Life, and you had to come up with as many ancestors or past life people as you could. So if you wanted to fly a plane, you better hope you took like a World War II airplane pilot. If you wanted to fly something, or I need to blend in this corporate culture. You maybe one of your ancestors was a shipping magnate, but in this case, 2090s ancestors can pretty much be anything other than cybernetic experts, because that would have been they would have died before that became a real thing, which it is now, which is part of why Max Tac is so freaky, because they can have cybernetics and werewolves and vampires and mages if they're technocrats, whatever they call those guys. But that's also part of the Weaver's fault and why you have to fight them before, they turn everybody into a, Iron Man type, and then you kind of become irrelevant for saving the planet. So some of the gifts are on or off. You would sometimes spend a gnosis, sometimes make a roll to see if they work. And you kind of have to, run that on your side. I'm not going to try to use a dice rolling program and try to count, the runes 16 dice to hit, and then determine how many tens they have, and then roll rolls again. So kind of gonna trust you guys to do your own rolls and let me know what happens.
Fair.
And if you have a gift that raises something or a background that raises something, kind of count on you guys to keep track of that and keep it honest. So there's way too many dice in this game to come up with a really satisfying format for it. So one of the most important things that you can not do is cause a massive delirium panic. So if you shapeshift in public, if you use a blatant power in public, you can, drive people nuts. And they'll react in all kinds of different ways. Some of them will crawl into a ball and suck your thumb. Some of them will run away from you as fast as you can. Some of them will find the most dangerous thing they can and attack you with it. Some of them will just look at you like Krillin and just point at you and sweat bead like, oh. So you got to be careful of that. If you incite delirium in public, local law enforcement will probably call in MetSec, and if MetSec figures out that they don't want to try to handle what you're putting down, they'll call in Max Tac, and they can show up pretty damn quick. Especially if you're in LA proper, that up to 5 minutes is in the protector of LATMA. If you're actually in LA, they can show up in like a couple rounds. So
Right.
it's bad juju.
Because they're like around the corner there.
Yeah, that's like, we aren't even going to load up the jump ship. We'll just jump off the building and do superhero landing.
Pretty bad on the knees.
That's what I've heard.
Oh, impractical. Presently, I mean, your resources kind of bears this out. You don't really have any notable possessions other than what we've already talked about. The microbus and the motorcycle, and your rune will have a clave. Uh, but yeah,
It's part of the Stargazer thing, man. I only took one resource because supposed to like get rid of our physical possessions in this world.
yeah, and so it's like, for instance, if you picked up I think it's Raven as a pack totem, their ban is you can't carry wealth, which doesn't mean you can't have any money. It's just you wouldn't try to whip out your platinum card, because then Raven will just be like pissed off and come up and snatch it out of your fingers and then take away all of its gifts that it gives you for the session because it pisses it off. But if you were all your worldly possessions, it doesn't mean that they wouldn't. The ban would prevent you from carrying like a fetish weapon, or bring a gun to a gunfight. It's just you wouldn't want to pull up in your Escalade and start pulling out your tripod and your 50 cal BMG, and your fangirls to wave big fans at you while you're over displays of finance are gauche to them. So each one of the tribes will have its own sort of ban, and you kind of have to look at that. So it's like, I wanted to play this Bonar with high resources, and it's like, no, then you pick the wrong thing. There's no such thing as a rich Bonar.
That's just a glass walker. That's a glass walker with a different fashion sense.
So like I said, so presently, with the combined knowledge and giving leeway for having mentors who are more open, and the Sept elders don't generally try to withhold information from you, but they don't go out of their way to tell you things because they don't know what you don't know, and they're not going to try to download their entire knowledge to you every time they see you. But from what you would be able to know, there are two somewhat larger vampire hives in Los Angeles. There's a medium-sized hive in Long Beach, not too close to the cairn. It's pretty far off there. Getting closer toward Tijuana. There is a massive worm pit in Anaheim.
In Anaheim.
Yep. There's a black spiral hive there.
Is that actually the amusement park? You know the one.
Yes. Oh yes. Yes. It's no small world.
Yeah.
So I really just have to do my freebies now, and then do a
Sweet.
write up for Ray.
Yeah, if you do like a short background is one extra freebie, medium is 2, and a large background is 3.
What are the limits on merits and flaws again, Ray?
You can get points up to 7 points of flaws.
Okay.
You can balance those out with merits. You can take up to 10 points of merits, but you'd be using freebies if
Take
you.
the other 3.
Yeah.
Now, are those in some settings where that's like kind of seems like that's how you get what actually makes your character feel different? Because that's kind of how it feels in like Mech Warrior Destiny. Is like you're just a package of skills until you start applying the flaws and merits.
it adds flavor, and it can add flavor to the entire chronicle depending on what it is. And some of them seem like, oh man, I shouldn't take this because it's bad. But, then it's like hunted. It seems like it would be bad if you bring heat on the group because you're hunted. But it gives you points, and it's not like you're not going to be hunted anyway, right?
Well, and sometimes the bad ones are the most fun.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's better to have like a foe from the past, some like high up there, high gen vampire or low gen, whatever it is, that's more powerful. That doesn't necessarily have to kill you all to make a point. Where it's just like, I'm just gonna make you guys look like the ass clowns you are, and then bro flings his cape and runs away. So it can be stuff like that too.
Okay.
So when you want to shapeshift, you can either roll stamina plus primal urge, and the difficulties is on the second sheet. You'll see different forms you can take at the top: Hamid, Glabro, Krynos, Hispo, and Lupus. And you can see where it says strength plus 2, you add 2 dots to your current strength. You lose 2 to your manipulation and appearance because you kind of look like Sabretooth. And the difficulty for that is 7. So you're rolling stamina plus primal urge pool and trying to get at least 1 7. If you get 3 successes, it's an instant transformation, which is good. Mechanically, it doesn't matter that much. If you succeed, you're going to be in Glabro for that round. But your slow transformation will make it a lot more apparent to mortals who will then go into delirium from seeing you. Or maybe not delirium, but they'll have an adverse reaction based on their own willpower to seeing you shift like that. It'll definitely be a breach, and it will definitely have people starting to call 911 on you. Because it's blatant. Unless you take a merit called Fair Glabro, which means you might even be able to be in the middle of a club, and you go from Hamid to Glabro. Suddenly you get 6 inches taller and gain about 50 pounds, and you're looking like a huge Jackman, and they might not notice that because you're Fair Glabro. You can walk around in Glabro, and people will just be like, that guy kind of looks like a caveman, but it wouldn't strike them as beyond the norm. Krynos, as you can see, difficulty 6, and in all caps, incite delirium in humans. That's something you generally want to avoid. But once you incite delirium, it's bad for everyone because then you start attracting attention from other players on the board. And if you do it enough, you'll start getting a reputation. So you have your renown as glory, honor, and wisdom. You also have a group renown that I keep track of called infamy. And if you guys get too much in infamy, you're like, I'm going to do this thing, and you're going to go out in public, and they're going to be like, oh my god, it's that monster. That's Bigfoot. And then people will want to take care of that issue. Hispo is the big wolf. You look like a priest. You can't in Hispo. You cannot pass for an Arctic wolf or a Siberian wolf. You look straight up like a saber-tooth wolf. I mean, you're a massive hulking monster. And then Lupus, you just look like a regular wolf. You can pass for any wolf, Arctic wolf, brown wolf, whatever. People see a Lupus and they're just like, what the hell is a wolf doing in, Long Beach? Weird, but not, inexplicable to their minds. Like, oh yeah, I think I saw on National Geographic. There's some wolves around here. When you want to do a partial morph, there's a merit called metamorph, and another one I think that's called like partial shifting or something like that. You can try to do a partial shift without those benefits, but it's really hard. Your difficulty goes up by like 3. So if you want to be a Hamid that has Krynos claws and you want to play Wolverine, you're talking about a difficulty 6 stamina and primal urge. And the chances of botching that are high. If you botch a shift like that, chances are you're going to be in a whole lot of pain really quick, and you'll probably frenzy, and you'll probably turn into like some sort of really messed up looking Kronos monster, something Rick and Morty level, and people will definitely have delirium from whatever you chimera you end up as. Also with the Occult 3, Jeff, you do know about the other shifters. They're not just a rumor to you.
Okay.
So you know about the Rokia, you know about the Grawl.
Okay.
You don't know.
I figured
you don't
that
know
made
much
sense
about
because
them.
of all my travels.
Yeah, you don't know in-depth lore about them, but you know that they exist. You know Grawl are usually chill, but can rip a house off its foundations when they get pissed. Rokia are just kind of sea wolves. They're territorial. They don't really like people. If you have a high enough pure breed, you can kind of talk them down, maybe even get them to help you with something. But for the most part, you would probably assume that they'll just be like, I'm a shark, I'm a shark, I'm a shark.
Just don't eat me when I'm surfing, dude.
They're usually out deeper than that. Arokia in Kronos follows around the submarine, bites off the tail end, and sucks out all the semen.
Yikes.
Oh, you also know about the were alligators and the likelihood that they are, at least in part, responsible for the legends of Godzilla's.
Okay.
Because if you have a huge size, monstrous Kronos with the gift that doubles your size, they're not that far off from a real Godzilla. So if you do have resources, including any microvans or motorcycles you might have, you have a city pass. It's still California. It's still a fairly reliable means of travel. If you have to be an appointment absolutely on time, probably not the best unless you plan to get there an hour early or so. Traffic is actually not that bad anymore. With the advent of some hover vehicles, and the corporation is just having so much money that most people are driving around subcompacts and motorcycles. A few of them, like Go Gangers, they'll have Humvees and stuff like that, but most people are driving around in little electric vehicles. So among other rights you might look at, there are things like the right of appeasement. So if you mess up real bad, and you're going to have to go and face Taltos for judgment, you can use something like the right of appeasement to mitigate some of the damage that you would be suffering from
That's how it is. Don't
his
play
judgment.
Okay. I mean, I'm probably going to spend a couple more points to get a few more, just because, like, I'm really running low on background points. Four for one fetish is a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. What are specialties?
So specialties are linked to your abilities and attributes.
Yep.
When you have 4 points in something, you take 1, and when you have 5 points, you can take 2. So they are like a specialty for drive could be motorcycles or big rigs. Specialties for stealth could be sneaking or um, blending in, for instance. And when you roll your dice to do one of those skills that you have a specialty in, like, so for instance, you are trying to sneak around and get past some guard dogs, you would roll probably something like dexterity and stealth. And if you had a specialty in stealth or sneaking, you would reroll 6s and higher. So, like exploding dice.
Just so you guys know, I muted Adam on the server because Ray was coming through his stuff and it was making him hard to understand. So, if Adam's quiet, it's not because he's avoiding us. It's because I hushed him for a moment.
Okay. Does he have some way of, like, getting our attention? Does he know that he's been muted? Did you let Adam know you muted Adam?
I let you guys know.
I can hear this.
Okay.
Hey, you know who can hear me when I talk?
Unfortunately,
Alright,
yes.
I gotta go put my kid to sleep.
Well, we're
Alright,
probably
just
close
remember
enough
the
to
chlor-
done, huh?
Yeah, I mean, unless you guys have any other questions. That's pretty much the basic overview. Until I get the character sheets, I see what, you guys can build out and then throw back, any points you spent that are irrelevant now.
Yep. I mean,
I just have to do my freebies, and I'm done.
Dope.
And I guess figuring out specialties for certain things.
quick question.
Yep.
There's the plug and play gift for being Glasswalker. Does me having the turbo PDA make that irrelevant, or would me not having that make the turbo PDA irrelevant?
Let me find that real quick.
So it's spends 1 willpower point. Any computer the Glasswalker uses, no matter how simple, becomes fully compatible with any other digital device. But you said it acts as a deck. Do decks already do that?
No.
No. Okay.
No. It's like what I put in there. If you roll Gnosis or spend a Gnosis, you immediately activate a +2 to computers.
Okay. In that case, plug and play is the right choice. Perfect.
Yeah, so those would stack. It's very good. Well, I guess one more thing of note is you have health levels. You can see them on your sheet. The more hurt you get, those negatives is negatives to your dice pool, and also how much you're dying. There are certain things. There are gifts like resist pain. That can mitigate that. But still, when you reach 7, you're down. If you go under 7, you might die, or you might, rage regenerate and get a battle scar. There are 2 major forms of damage. Normal damage, which is like you getting a shot with a gun or stabbed with a sword. It hurts, but you can regenerate from that pretty quick. And then there's aggravated damage. It comes from things like fire, silver, electricity, certain gifts. And that is a lot harder to heal from. So, when you run into something that does aggravated damage, you probably want to take that seriously because it's serious. If somebody takes you down with normal damage, it's embarrassing to you, but your pack mates can drag you back to the sept, and you lay there like an idiot for a few hours, and you're back up to normal. All your wounds seal up. Aggravated damage takes like a week to heal 1 point. Normal damage takes, I think it's something like an hour or something like that.
Okay.
And then magical healing, of course, fixes all of that. So,
What about emotional damage?
Emotional damage.
You're a werewolf. You only have one emotion: rage. Now, for that, you need.
I wish
you
I
need
would have had
pathways.
the idea to play Kung Fury, except I think Daniel's doing that.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, I mean, it's thematic, right? Daniel is essentially a giant Viking werewolf.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
I hope he goes that route and isn't wearing the pointy helmet and the lightning bolts on his shoulder.
Hopefully he did. Well, good thing he's with Ty, and he may not hear this later to get that idea.
No, I have to imagine he's going to come off a lot like Thor.
I just think of like Vlad Kulich's character Bulvi in the 13th Warrior. Like that's the Get of Fenris Arun right there.
This character sheet PDF is missing things.
You're missing things.
What do you think it's missing, Campbell?
Well, when I go to gifts, it's only giving me a small number that doesn't match the list provided by the book.
I noticed that too. I typed it in.
Yeah, like it doesn't give city running, which I think is a lot cooler than persuasion.
So you can, like, I mean, if you click in the box, you can type in whatever you want.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Like, it screws with the formatting because if you type it in, it's center justified. Or if you pick from the drawdown box, it's left justified.
That is annoying.
Again, like Daniel.
But hey, we're all neurotypical around here. Something little like that isn't going to ruin our day.
You're differently neuroatypical than I am.
I guess another somewhat important thing, the veil between the spirit world and the natural world right now is really thick. That's the Weaver's fault. So when you want to enter the Umbra, if you do that at your cairn, at the dumpster fire presently that is your cairn, your ability to walk through is probably about a difficulty 5. That means you would roll your gnosis and try to get 5 or higher. The more successes you get, the faster you go through. You need a reflective surface. The ocean isn't going to do it. Like a still pond would do it. The ocean isn't going to do it. So you can do things like look into your clave, carry a pocket mirror, run into the men's or ladies' room and look into that mirror. If you're at a bar, you can look into the mirror behind the booze. But if you do that in public and you disappear like that, people are going to notice.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah. The further out you go in Long Beach proper, it's difficulty 6. In LA, it's difficulty 7. Downtown, difficulty 8. In some corporate buildings, it can get as high as 9 or 10. And sometimes they have other spirits on their side that can, raise it from like an 8 to a 10. They would just call upon a weaver spirit and force it to raise the thing, and it makes it really difficult to step sideways or enter the penumbra. It's a really good escape mechanic, but you probably don't want to count on that if you're downtown. Unless your Thurges have tricks up their sleeve, they pull out their R2-D2 with bees and do some sort of rite that lowers the veil in the area, and that can make things a lot easier. If you have a spirit that can pull you through, I guess that's one reason to still have a sub-spirit, even at a low level, just because they can try to pull you through with them. Because even if they only have 1 point to use to help you guys, they also have their own Gnosis rating, and it's usually pretty high because they're a spirit. So they would have a pretty decent chance of being able to pull the rest of the group through. So, Totem might be a lot more difficult, but even at 1 point, the sub-spirit can still prove useful. Willpower, if you're trying to resist something that is scary, like a vampire stares at you and tries to say, "Ooh, I'm a spooky vampire, run away," you would roll your willpower against their whatever dominate to see if they can make you run away. Or, say the prince of a city is trying to do a summons, and it's really difficult for you to resist. You can spend a willpower to resist it for for a short period of time. So this is kind of like, oh no, they're trying to summon me. I have to resist this. You may end up blowing through willpower to get back to the sept, and then say, the prince of the city is trying to pull me in. Help, guys! And then they can knock you out, whatever it is they need to do, to make sure you don't do that thing.
Okay.
When you are in Colonel's form, or any form that has claws, you can do aggravated damage with your claws. Clave will always do aggravated damage. Fire, electricity. You can use those things too. They'll do aggravated damage.
Can you dip them in lean to make your stuff more, make yourself tougher?
Only if you have a system shock of 27% or less. If you're some kind of barbarian that has a 99% system shock, you will definitely instantly die.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. Damn Gary games.
Yeah, when he was on point, he was on point. When he was off point, I would rather have played Kick Ray in the balls.
Yes. Or if there was a girl in the game,
Or somebody playing a female character.
which was creepy in a way.
Yeah.
Jeff, you have a point in totem, right? Like the sept totem or the
Each.
one in
1
each?
point in each.
Okay, I have 4 freebie points that I am not super in love with, and I still haven't written out a background that I have an idea for. So at least 5.
So yeah, that's up to you guys as a group. If you get 5 points in totem, it opens up some pretty good totems. Although you have to take the good with the bad on those. You can get like there's one that gives you a permanent point of manipulation for everyone in the pack, and then access to use things like occult, subterfuge, enigmas, stuff like that. But some of them have bans. Some of them are pretty silly, like you can't engage in a fox hunt, and if you hear somebody's doing a fox hunt, you have to go and stop it.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
Now, does that include people doing hashing runs, which are simulated fox hunts,
Yes.
but end with people swinging?
Yes. It includes the sort of fox hunt, like if just some mortals get together and do a paint gun thing and say, aha, this guy is the fox. Everybody has to get the fox. Yeah, you got to go in and stop their paintball game.
Oh.
Because it's upsetting the fox spirit.
Yeah.
So not only do we have to stop people playing for paintball, we have to stop the swingers too? The drinking club with a running problem that's very horny.
Yeah.
I only know about them because a chief of mine in the army kept recruiting people to it. Which, once I realized they were a bunch of swingers, seemed a little on the iffy side.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what was on the iffy side?
You might have to stop the intolerance from chasing down the furries at the conventions too.
Only if they're fox furries.
Exactly. Well, which they're going to be. There's going to be some.
If
There's
they're
gonna be
any
some.
other kind of furry, you can just join them.
Yeah, I guess.
Does Gnosis form still cause paranoia or whatever it's called? Hold on.
Delirium.
Delirium at a furry convention, or do they just think it's a really good costume?
At that point, you could get away. You would have to make a roll, like charisma and etiquette or manipulation and etiquette. You might actually be able to convince them that Kronos is a really good costume.
Okay.
Of course, you might get yiffed.
Yikes. That's on you, buddy.
Hey, man. Gaia needs new warriors all the time? Question mark?
So, Campbell, you have how many points of totem?
So I have 4 current unspent freebie points, and I haven't written a story, so at least 15. I mean, at least 5, at most 7. We're going to go ahead and assume 5, because I can't write.
Okay.
But
I have a point of totem. Jeff, you have 2 points of totem?
I have one totem, 1 sept spirit.
Okay.
I
So
have
we
1
can-
sept spirit right now.
Well, I mean, you could get both. You could go either way there. You can get a baseline totem and a pretty powerful sept spirit if you split those points up, right? Or you can dump totem, take sept spirit, or you can dump sept spirit and take totem and have them be more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, however we want to do that.
all right. Do you want me to just go ahead and put 2 and 2 for now?
Sure.
And then once I submit my story and Ray gives me points based on the grammar and punctuation?
Oh,
Ooh, man,
God.
if that's
So-
the case, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
So 1 point.
don't do that with
One-
Ray.
So 1 point.
Oh.
Hold on.
Do you know what Ray's
For anyone
degree
here who
is?
doesn't know,
I'm well
And
aware
people
what Ray's
need a
degree is
reminder.
in.
Ray's degree is in English.
The language that I frequently massacre as a bit.
Luckily, so does Ray.
It's so easy to massacre.
Speaking of which, the word bow is not allowed anymore. B-O-W. It has 17 meanings and it's 3 letters.
So is it a
Hate
bow staff or a bow staff?
Or is it the bow of a ship? I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Or are we bowing?
Yeah. Or am I putting it in my hair?
Or
I
is it
mean,
just
not
meant funny?
well, my beard, but I hate it. 3 letters. It's not allowed to have more meanings than it has letters. Should be a new rule.
So it's versatile, like a certain letter that starts with F.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right, so I'll go ahead and put 2 and 2, and then we'll figure that out later. That's
Okay.
Where'd that?
Where does that go? Is that that's a background,
There.
right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And I'm
Step
okay
spirit
with
will
having
be in there.
I'm okay with having a powerful one of both because we'll probably need all the extracurricular help we can get.
Yeah, so right now, presently, with the points that I know of and not extras from freebies or anything like that, you have 4 points for totem and 3 points for your sept spirit.
2, 3, 5,
I'll throw in 2 and 2 as well.
7, 9.
Okay,
And
We-
then work with whatever points are left over.
we should be pretty strong on that then. We can get bonus help
Can
when
we-
we need it because we'll need it. We're dumb.
Can we split, have 2 pack totems?
No. Yeah, no, it's I don't know. That's like having the Christian God plus I also worship Thor, and then like your Christian God would say you can't do that. It's in the rule book.
Okay.
No, in theory, it's very rare. It's not something that I recommend, especially for beginners. You can have a pack totem, and individuals can have individual personal totems, but
11.
No, I think we're good just having group ones.
So presently, right now, you have a 6-point totem and a 5-point Sept Spirit. So your Sept Spirit is pretty competent at doing stuff. Your totem, you have to pick which one it is. So they have like 4-point totems. You can get a 4-point totem and have 2 extra points of extra powers that your totem can provide to you. Or right
Okay.
now, you can get a 6-point totem and just be baselines. So all totems have a certain set thing that they can do for you. Like give you stats or pass them around and be like, oh, for this round, I want to use the extra firearms, and the next round I will pass it out for them, or I'm just going to keep them because I'm the Arun and you guys are unworthy. Stuff like that.
That
Okay.
checks out.
Do we want a totem of respect, a totem of war, or a totem of wisdom, or a totem of cunning?
Well,
Knowing this group, wisdom.
Yeah, we'll need it. It's less we chose the totem and more the totem was like these idiots need all the help they
Yeah.
can get.
Ooh, look at these guys.
Okay, so we have 6 points. We can afford to take a totem of the raven, or raven totem. That gives us an extra point of wisdom. Pack traits. Raven's packs have 3 dots of survival, 1 of subterfuge, and 1 of enigmas that we can use over over the course of any adventure.
I like that one. That one
Okay,
makes
let's
me a
do
little
that.
more OP.
And what's its ban?
4.
I hope it's not banned. I like the sound of that one.
10.
No. What is its ban?
Oh,
Oh, let me go back and look. Ban Raven's children can't carry wealth, which is pretty okay because we're a bunch of poor bastards anyway. We trust in Raven to provide for.
Yep.
Is there do any of us require something other than that?
I don't.
Campbell, I'm looking at you, man.
I mean, I
Yeah,
haven't even.
Mr. Tech Guy not having wealth might be bad.
I mean,
So the fetish doesn't count.
I'm about to say the fetish wouldn't count, and the fetish is how I'd be doing most of it anyway.
Okay.
Because it counts as a deck. But I also, with my freebies, I have 3 points in resource. Which doesn't necessarily mean I'm carrying wealth, it just means that y'all are pitching tents on the beach and I've got a studio apartment.
I've currently got 2 in resources, so I'm in kind of the same boat.
Yeah, there's a difference between having some money and carrying wealth. So if you're wearing gold chains, like some kind of West Coast rapper, that's carrying wealth. If you have a platinum card that you're taking with you, or even worse, a black card that doesn't have numbers on it, that's considered carrying wealth. If you got like $100 in your pocket, or if you're carrying like $5,000 to go and buy or rent a Billy Bob's rental truck, that's not considered carrying wealth. It's a kind of more an overt sort of thing there. So if you've got like enough change in your pocket to get a Coke, it's not going to bother you. If you've got like $20, you can stop at the hot dog. It's not going to consider that carrying wealth. It's not that you can't carry any money. It's just
It's being extravagant.
yes,
It's wearing a big clock around your neck.
correct.
Don't you mess with Flava. Okay, I'm going to put us down as having a raven totem.
Yeah, I like the
Okay,
sound
so
of
that's
that.
5 points. So you all gain a point of wisdom. That's under renown. That's good for for everyone. Mostly good for Thurges. It's going to help them progress faster. Although Arun do need wisdom, and that's the hardest thing for Arun to get. So it's also not bad for you. So you have 3 dots of survival, 1 of subterfuge, and enigmas. And if you run into were-ravens, they'll be well disposed toward you, as long as you're not presently in disfavor from Raven. Like, I couldn't help it. I had to take that pimp's diamond-tipped cane and walk around with it. And then at that point, Raven is ignoring you for the rest of the session. You don't get any of that stuff. You lose your point of, well, you don't lose your wisdom. You would lose your point of,
Enigmas and what?
subterfuge, survival, and enigmas. So it's 3 points of survival, 1 point of subterfuge, and 1 point of enigmas.
Is that in addition to anything we have?
Yes.
Because
Oh, well,
I have 3 subterfuge, 2 survival, and 2 enigmas now.
I had 2 survival as well, so I'm suddenly just like, I survive.
Yeah.
Now remember, it can only pass those things around. You don't all have that all at once. So
We are
Also,
not the
It's like
we
the
are not
pool.
the infantry. We are a bunch of sneaky ass rangers.
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, this totem
ass
benefits
rangers.
all of us.
9.
Of course, my silent strider should be more stealthy and everything else. At least to the way I understood it.
That is their stereotype, and it bears out. Gifts like speed of thought and stuff like that.
11.
The one that lets me just climb buildings at my walk speed.
Nope. Speed of thought doubles your movement.
No, a different one. City running?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, city running. I took
Hardcore
that one too.
parkour.
Yeah, I took hardcore parkour.
But
It
I
seems
also
cool.
took- I also took spur claws because that sounds hilarious.
It sounds painful.
What it translated to when I read it was basically I can turn my claws into bee stingers and break them off at a motherfucker.
Ow. Ow.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. So I was like, oh, that's horrible. 2, 4, 6, 10, 13.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, this book has so much stuff in it. And every time I scroll too fast, it goes to a different section of more stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's a pretty grognardy setting.
I can feel my beard getting longer, my back growing more achy, and my complaints growing more and more varied.
Welcome to gaming in the '90s, boys.
I mean, let's look at classic BattleTech.
6, 8.
Let's not. I don't want to play graphs of the game.
It's the game of charts.
The game of charts.
Not
I'll play it
charts,
on Megamix
charts.
for hours.
Yeah.
Just remember, it goes a lot quicker once you memorize the charts.
Yeah. Because that's what I want to do with my life.
Also, the guy who said that, he was like, it's all pretty much on the charts. And I was like, cool. But what if I've seen those charts? What if I start getting into advanced tech? What's an ultra autocannon do? I know what it does
shots,
narratively,
Double
but how does
shots.
it work mechanically?
Oh, yeah, well, you know.
I understand that ultra means DACA squared. Thank you, Tex. I get this.
What if I use a LBX cluster and it turns into a missile round instead of...
Yeah.
I have to roll my 10 hits on the missile table. Alright, so we're good? Because I was going to go see Mom at work for her break, so...
Yeah, I've even done my freebies, So I'm ending up with 2 points in Sept Spirit.
Woohoo! Then he doesn't suck either. Yay!
Yeah, and I'll get mine together as quickly as I can.
Okay, when you send them over, I'll tally up everything again because I just have raw numbers right now because I only had 2 characters, so I didn't say who had what. So when you send them to me, I'll fix that up for you.
Yep. I just need to find the merits and flaws because, like Daniel said, that is kind of when things get interesting.
It is. I've got to put mine in, and then I'll send it back to you again, Ray.
Oh, okie dokie.
I mean, there's like 150 basic combinations between tribe, auspice, and breed.
That's fair. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
There's a lot of flavor in this game.
There's a lot of flavor, but
Probably more so than even mage.
Ray knows about mage. I know that it's a thing.
I love it.
I love playing mage, but we had certain people who would always run it, and they would be like, "Oh, you have like 5 in intelligence and 5 in rituals, whatever it's called, and you have like 5 points in primal and 5 points in spirit, and you want to summon a spirit. No, that doesn't work." And then their friend would be like, I have like 1 point in, I don't know, whatever. I want to summon Godzilla. Okay, it happens. That's what I didn't like about it.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Was it Gary?
No, Gary would never run mage.
Sounds like Gary.
That's like Rich.
Okay, that was my next guess. Was Rich. So
Yeah, and there was another.
And then the Skeleton King breaks your fingers.
yes, no more
Yeah.
questions.
King, break your hand.
Isn't Mage the game of Season 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! Where if you can bullshit it well enough, it can work?
It's
Kinda.
supposed to be. Yeah, if you can bullshit it well enough, you don't get eaten by paradox spirits instantly.
Yeah.
And you don't
Right.
throw a fireball, you just make a gas main explode.
Yeah, like, who needs to conjure random fire when we have pumped flammable gases across the entire city? Let me just make some of those pop real quick.
Yeah. Or you can make a necromancer like I did, who just uses spirits to do chores around his house. He's lazy.
It's not vulgar if nobody sees it.
I feel like that's made it into the Mr. Welch list of things you're not allowed to do in RPGs anymore. Along with, despite its phenomenal track record, the multi-melta is not the answer to all problems.
Lies.
Lie. Deception.
It can't resist you if it's melted, Campbell.
It's not a problem if it's a pile of goo.
It's a permanent solution.
To a temporary problem.
Yeah. Ooh. Mm-mm.
Don't worry, Campbell. I also had a joke where I was like, "Don't say it, Daniel. That's real bad."
That's that real bad. Like that is a thing we're not allowed to joke about. I don't even think there's a yet. That's just we're not allowed to joke about it.
What aren't we allowed to joke about?
Well, it was a solution, a permanent solution.
Oh,
One might
great.
say an ultimate or other word, a climactic solution.
Yeah, let's. Can we not go with ultimate?
No,
Or ultimate
Don't
final?
worry.
Can we not go with those?
Turns out Campbell and I made the same joke.
Yeah, we're both horrible people who were like, oh.
Yeah, it went through my head. I was like, "It's like a, don't say that."
Yeah, that's not
horrible.
great. That's not
That
great.
is not a thing not a thing to joke about.
Humans against
What about
humanity.
a climactic solution like Pearl Jam?
Do you like Pearl Jam?
Adam.
Eh,
I love hearing Ray or Bruce get mad at Adam. I
I
was staring
totally
at the
didn't get the
chat when
name
I
Pearl
started talking.
Jam for like 6 years, man.
Hey, their first 3 albums were great.
well,
Yeah, they are.
I only within the last decade or so got the joke in their name.
Yep.
That's
And once you
quite a
get it,
while.
man, it's a little ooky.
All right, guys. I'm gonna end the stream. Twitch.
Yep.
All right. Give mom a
Good night,
hug.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, about the
Bye.
time people
Bye,
start joking
Twitch.
about She-Man, it's
Friendos.
time to end it.